Good morning, good morning. I know, another day. Hey family, what's up? How's it going? What are you up to? You know what I mean? I'm sipping on some water. It's a nice morning out. I want to chat with you guys before I gotta go do what I gotta go do. Today's topic is about caseworkers. If you have no experience with caseworkers, I'm going to give you a little bit of tips, a little bit of advice, a little bit of knowledge, what I've experienced, what I've gone through, what it's really like. If you have experience, good. Domestic workers, okay? Social workers, DSHS is what I'm really focusing on, or Department of Agriculture. They may call it something else, Department of Human Services. We're talking about these groups of people, okay? Homeless shelter workers, it could be temporary housing workers, caseworkers. In each resource, Salvation Army, they have caseworkers in there. Each resource department, they have a caseworker. Gotta know these things, okay? All right, now, something I've always wanted to talk about. When you are applying for benefits or help from the state, okay, or help in general, go in there with a decent attitude. Dress nice, dress clean to the best of your abilities. I've shared with you guys, there's free clothing banks all over the county. Please pull up your county. Pull up the resources in your county. If there's no resources in your county, go to the next closest county and figure out if there's resources, and figure out if those resources are able to help you because you live out of county and there's no resources within your county. I've lived in a county of 40,000 people. There was only a couple of resources you could pull from before you had to go to another county. They're out there, okay? You just got to do your due diligence. I cannot stress that enough. Now, I'm going to tell you a quick story of when I was in Vegas and I was applying for benefits at the time. I went with somebody and she said, listen, you have to be there really early. I didn't know how to do any of this. And guys, bless my heart. I didn't know what the process was like. Remember, each state, each county, it's going to be different. Okay? The more people live in that county, the more people are going to be sitting outside of that DSHS, Salvation Army, United Way, church, clothing bank, food bank, okay? There's going to be a line of people, so please get there early. Please, if you're wearing Jordans and Nike, do not wear Jordans and Nikes or name brand clothes if you have them. I understand you want to feel good about yourself. Don't bring in your Michael Kors purse. Don't do none of that. If you are needing the help, and you're willing to put the work in, dress really basic, simple, a nice t-shirt, nice, maybe some jeans, maybe a pair of shoes, maybe a nice hat. Really depends. Like dress to the best of your abilities. Don't go in there. I've seen this too many times. I seen a lady, no judgment. I seen a lady who was just all decked out, and I believe they call it cashmere or shamir, something like that. Some name brand clothes. You know what I mean? Don't go in there wearing little baby outfits. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I'm trying to have fun with this with you guys. Don't go in there looking like you're keeping up with the Jones. They're gonna automatically be like, you know what I mean? Some caseworkers, they like to look at people and really hear their story. And yes, you'll have some caseworkers who have some straight attitudes. And you could see why. They have a lot of mental illness is going around with certain families. They have that problem. Now, a lot of veterans come in and out of there. A lot of people who have substance abuse problems go in and out of there. A lot of people fleeing from a domestic relationship, they have coming in and out of there. Not everybody is nice. You have a mixture, a variety of low-income families, low-income people. And I'm saying that really nicely from the bottom of my heart. Okay? So each caseworker is different. Now, if you're going into the welfare office, make sure you have your birth certificates. They may ask for that. Your social security cards, they're going to ask for that for everybody in your household. Make sure you have the application for whatever type of assistance you are asking for. Make sure you already have it filled out. Don't go in there with not having your poop together. You know what I mean? I don't know how many times I don't know how many times I've told people to do these basic things, and then they come back to me and go, oh, they had attitude, I wasn't getting the help I needed, oh, they delayed me, blah, blah, blah. Listen, just listen what I'm saying. Make sure everything's filled out. If you have kids with you, make sure they're well behaved. And I mean well behaved. The bathrooms can be a little nasty from time to time. Sometimes they'll call you by a number. You have to go in, check in, pull a number out. You could be sitting there 8 hours. You could be sitting there almost all damn day. Open and close. That's a possibility. Those seats in there are hard as hell. So you remember those hard times. Okay? They don't make the shit comfy. It's not supposed to be comfy. Make sure you have a backup charger. Make sure you have your phone charged up. Make sure you have the necessary items. Social security card, birth certificates. Can't stress that enough. ID. Can't stress that enough. Make sure your application, cash assistance, food benefits, health care, whatever you are asking for when it comes to that department, make sure it's already filled out. If you filled it out online, make sure you fill it out online twice. And yes, I say twice because sometimes they don't get it right within hours. They may have to wait. So do both, online and do a paper application. I've heard this too. Oh, Olivia, I can't write that well. It doesn't matter. Do the best you possibly can. A caseworker will help you as much as they possibly can. If you're willing to do the work, they're willing to help you out and fix the errors that need to be made. Okay? Okay, moving on. When it comes to caseworkers, keep in mind, they help a lot of families. They see a lot of stories, and I can't stress this enough. Please be respectful. Okay? If something's not going your way, don't pop off at the mouth. I can't tell you how many times I've seen it. Yeah, and it just comes, there's no reason for a blow up, all right? People who have a mental illness, who can't control it, I understand there's those groups of people, okay? You know, are elderly, I understand, I completely understand. But when you do a whole blow up, just know you will be escorted out the door by security, okay? Okay. Now, you are going to have a lot of nice caseworkers, okay? There's nice caseworkers out there. They'll give you a list of resources if you ask for it. They can point you to the food banks. Sometimes they'll help you. If it's a homeless shelter, they'll give you like a recommendation. Remember, that's your job. You need to figure out if you're going to be placed in some sort of housing if you're homeless. So, if you're homeless, please make sure you get a list of resources of shelters. Do the intakes. Make sure you're calling these places. Don't neglect your responsibilities, because caseworkers in the Department of Health and Human Services, DSHS, Welfare Office, they can only help you so much. They can only supply you with benefits, okay, resource packets, and possible food and food vouchers if they have them. Sometimes they don't always have them. Make sure, if you don't have a driver's license, if you do not have an ID card, I cannot stress this enough. Ask the caseworker. Say, I just have a question. Is there any way you could help me get my driver's license or ID card? Do you have a voucher to write out to the Department of Secretary of the State? Sometimes they're called like the DMV, Secretary of the State. Okay, it may be called DOL, something different. Please just do your research. Okay, and they will tell you if this caseworker doesn't know. Okay, because some caseworkers don't know. Those are mostly the new ones. People who have been working there 10, 20 years, they know. If this caseworker doesn't know, for an example, say nothing against you, can I just speak to your manager? Maybe he or she might know. Matter of fact, she or he might even ask, hey, so-and-so in the other cubicle, do you know what this is? You know what I mean? So that's a good possibility. I've had help with it before in the past. I've known people who've had help with it before in the past. If they don't have vouchers, I always say the beginning of the month is the best time to go. Don't go towards the end of the month where everybody's rushing in there. Don't even go in the middle of the month. It's just bad news. Everybody's backed up, worked up. Like, just go early as possible, the beginning of the month, early in the morning. As soon as they be in there, waiting outside. Do not roll up at noon. Don't be rolling up at right before closing. Don't do none of that. Roll up right when they open. Okay? Now, moving on. You will have some caseworkers who have no personality, you'll try to feel them out, ask them questions, whatever the case may be. They have, they just really want to get you in, get you out. That's okay. You have to basically just work with the caseworker as best as you can. When you're going through the process with the caseworker, they're going to ask you questions just to make sure that your application is 100% accurate. Make sure your application is 100% accurate, okay? If you have custody of the kids, even better if you have kids. Moving on. You're going to have some caseworkers in there who are going to have a hard time. You are going to run into some caseworkers. It's not guaranteed, y'all. It's not guaranteed. You're going to have some caseworkers in there sometimes that make a nasty comment to you or here or two. That may happen. You got to dust that shit off. If it offends you, if it makes you feel uncomfortable, report it over to the supervisor. Don't wait around. Okay? But normally they're really nice because they work for the community. Now, anyways, remember, every caseworker is different. Remember, everybody has a life outside of their job, okay? And it's a stressful job. It really, really is. Not making excuses for anybody else's behaviors, but it's a stressful job. Make sure you're on top of your shit. I've had kids, 3, 4 kids. I've had 2 kids in the welfare office before in a double stroller. You're by yourself. You feel overwhelmed. There's other people in there. Sometimes they may have a kid's room. It's okay. It's okay. Don't feel ashamed because you are out here asking for help for your family. Don't abuse the system. Don't be prideful. Don't feel like, oh, I shouldn't be in here and, oh, I'm at the lowest of the lowest. Don't feel like that in the moment, because when you give off that energy, other people can feel it. Don't do that. You are there to get help. You are there to feed your family. You are there to support your family temporarily. This is temporary help. You have a lifelong goal ahead of you. But for right now, let's focus on feeding the family and getting what we need. Because that is what's important. That's why these resources are here. Don't worry about anybody else's story. Worry about your own. I can't stress this enough. This has always been on my heart, guys. This has always been on my heart, okay? When you're talking to the caseworker, say, hey, can I get your name? Can I get your email? Sometimes they have emails for that department. Whatever resource you're asking for. Ask for a list of resources, dental, healthcare, anything free within the community, any church. Normally they'll have it. They'll do a printout and staple it for you. And normally they just already have them made. You just got to ask. Don't be thinking a caseworker is going to solve all your problems. I've seen stuff like that in there too. Don't roll up in there thinking it's your mommy or your daddy's house going, oh, I need help. I don't know what's going on. No. Don't do none of that. Don't do none of that. Say that shit. Say that shit. Don't be like, oh, and then when they ask you, hey, did you fill this out? Did you fill that out? Hey, do you have this? No. No, don't do none of that. Don't. Y'all be playing with me too much. Okay? Don't do none of that. Oh, little Billy Bob won't sit around like. Don't play. Don't play, yo. Make sure you have your stuff together. Make sure you have your family together if you have your family together. Alright? Like, I can't begin to stress you. Have a little fun with it in the moment. Your kids already know if you have kids, you're stressed. Caseworkers already know, hey, I already have a job to do. I'm trying to accomplish this goal, trying to solve this problem. There's people out there like, shit, I gotta work on this, and I gotta work on this family, work on this case until I can get the problem solved. If you're willing to put the work in, it may take you 30 days to sit there and get what you need done. If you're willing to put the work in and you have a good attitude, people are gonna pick up off that energy and say, this person, they got the drive. They got the motivation. Please keep that in mind, all right? Don't play. Don't walk up in there with your pajamas and you're twirling your hair and, you're yawning and you haven't had your coffee, your brewski yet. Don't do that to yourself. You're setting yourself up for a failure, okay? Because it really doesn't matter. Caseworkers, homeless shelters, they kind of work almost the same way as DSHS workers, Department of Health workers. Okay? Make sure you can put on the best attitude you can possibly put on. You need it. Your kids need it if you have kids. God needs it. Okay? And it just changes the whole entire movement of the day. Yes, I can understand, just like most people, you're hitting it hard. I know what it feels like to be hungry. You don't have shit to feed yourself. I know what it feels like to go from homeless shelter to homeless shelter and just make it from meal to meal. I know what it feels like to walk for miles to go get a free slice of pizza at a pizza place. I know what that shit feels like. And I know most people know what that feels like. Okay? So when you walk up in here asking for resources, working with caseworkers, listen, they have your best interest in mind. Okay? Okay. Now! If you are applying for food stamps, SNAPs, or whatever they call it near you, normally they can load that money on within 48 hours or so if you are a resident of that state. If you are not a resident of that state, you have to wait a full 30 days. They make you wait. And then you have to come back in, reapply, blah, blah, da, 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 okay? But if you are a resident of that state, you may get food stamps within hours, or you may get it within a couple of days, or shoot, you might get it next month. It really depends on what the timing is of the month that you go in there asking for help, okay? Please keep that in mind. Please, I can't tell you how many times I've had somebody walk out and say, oh, I don't get my food stamps until next month. Oh, I need it now, da 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 da. Just be predicting. It's gonna be a while. And if you get it within a couple of hours, oh my God, a blessing, okay? Sometimes benefits aren't always instant. They're not instant benefits. They're not instant benefits. They're not upgraded benefits around here. Like, zap, boom, here's some money. Here's, bam, bam, problem solved. You can go up on your Mary Poppins way. I don't always like that, okay? As much as we want it to be, we just don't have control of that. Normally, they will give you a card within the office. If you lose that card, you have to go back into the office and go get another printout, or you may have to get it in the mail. So if you lose the card that they give you, you're going to have to cancel it, get another one from the office, or you may have to have one mailed. Really depends on where you at. Gotta drink some water. I'd be Aquaman around here. You guys know I love you guys, okay? I'm just trying to help some peeps out. Trying to help some families out. I've seen it. I've experienced it. I have been helping families out, okay? If you take my advice, you may go a long way with it. If you don't and you choose to do other things, okay, that's on you. All right? But I'm just trying to show I'm just trying to share my experience. Now, moving on. Okay? Some caseworkers don't always have all the answers to your problems, nor do they have all the solutions. They may refer you to other people. You really got to do the work. Okay? If something is not going your way and you get a setback, just know you have to keep working towards that goal every single day. I have a rule. Okay? If you are homeless or low-income family, you work, hustle, grind Monday through Friday. So when your caseworkers are working, Monday through Friday. And I mean that. Any paperwork that needs to be done, any mid-certifications that need to be done, any 6-month of reviews that need to be done, be on top of that shit. Do follow-ups. Don't just be like, oh, well, you know, I'm good. No, No. Okay? Don't wait around to get the mail or the letter or a phone call or a this or a that. Because listen, if something is missing out of your case and your caseworker needs it, they can't get a hold of you. Guess what happens to your benefits? That's right. You may wake up and they not be there and you have to do the whole process all over again. Whether that be health, dental, any veterans benefits, any elderly benefits. I'm talking to all of y'all. You know what I mean? Don't be waiting around. Don't be waiting around. You make sure you put it in your calendar and follow-ups and what you need to do and what you don't need to do. I like to say with social workers, for any type of benefits or assistance, do a follow-up with them at least 3 times a month. You are in their face. You are in their contacts. They have your email. They have your personal number. They know where you live. You are like this, okay? Because you guys are working together. And if you get a new caseworker, you better make sure you do 3 times as follow-up. Ain't nobody going to hold your hand. Ain't nobody's going to babysit your butt. You need to make sure you are on top of it. You know what the hell is going on, okay? Make sure you keep your income up to date with everybody. And I strongly advise, please do that. You're in a homeless shelter, transitional, low income, I don't care, living out of the car. Make sure you keep up on your income and you're keeping other people updated. Figure out a solution to your income problem quickly. You have kids and you're a single parent. Do the best you possibly can. We already know how this goes. I had a conversation with you guys about daycare, how the kids get sick nonstop and how it's a week at a time and this and that. And it could be very challenging. Take all of this into mental factor. Ain't nothing going to fall in your lap. When a caseworker is asking for certain things, they will give you deadlines. Make sure you have these items. If you do not have a birth certificate, ask, do you know where I could get help getting a birth certificate? Somebody in that county will help you pay for a birth certificate. I can't stress this enough. They'll help you pay for a birth certificate. If not, look into another county. If not, keep asking people, keep calling, do your calls, do your emails. Don't stop. This gives me goosebumps. Okay? All right. It ain't 1980 no more. It ain't 1980 no more where, you know, you got to send an envelope in and wait several days. It ain't that no more, okay? It ain't word of mouth anymore. You could do a Facebook post. You could really reach out to your community and figure out what kind of resources if you're new in that community, all right? Put the work in. If you are homeless and you're sitting in a welfare office all day, good. Make sure you know where the library is at, okay? All right. Moving on. Caseworkers are really nice. I've ran into a couple that made my day real win, if you know what I mean. I've had caseworkers really go above and beyond to help me and my family at one point in time in the past. I've known other success stories, and really, really good people. They like to help people. They understand people's situations. If you're willing to put the work in, you've got a good positive attitude, someone will point you in the right direction, okay? Don't be stressed. Don't feel down and out. We all been there. We all understand. Let's just get our shit done. You know what I mean? Anyways. Now, if you have a library, please make sure if you're homeless, low income, even low income, and you're living in low income housing, whatever the case may be, tax-based housing, make sure you know where your library is at. They have several activities for kids. The workers in there, really great people. They love to help out the community. Sometimes they give away free meals over there. Really check it out. It's going to help you. You can use a couple of hours of computer time. You can pick up books, pick up DVDs if you need them. If you are homeless, I've done this before. I've known people that has done it before. When I was hitting it real hard, I'm going to tell you a story real quick. I was hitting it real hard. I was new in this state. And when I say I just got there off of a Greyhound with the kids, we were new. I had a job up and going. I was waiting on a move-in date for this one place. The roommates we were currently with, we all know how roommates are. And you just couldn't make this person happy at all. Like, she was just, I said, I'm not doing this, okay? I'm not doing this. My family and I were homeless in a library parking lot. And it didn't last very long. I had no idea where the library was. I had no idea they had resources within the library. So when I ran into that, I was like, wow, this is a real win. They have bathrooms. If it's summertime, it's nice and cool in there. They have quiet hours. Listen, I understand. It's like, oh, shh, be quiet, library. No. Okay? There's people in there that will help you. There's people in there that will recognize your problem. If you're homeless or whatever your story is. And sometimes you may run into a couple of people that may help you. It's not always a guarantee. Your kids can go in there and take a nap if you need your kids to take a nap. If you need a break and the library has all those activities going on, why not use them? You don't need to be walking around in the hot baking sun on foot because you don't have a vehicle and you're homeless and you're stressed the hell out. Trust me, I understand. I know what it's like. If you know you're in this situation, or if you're heading down a road like this, please take my advice. Please, you know what I mean? When I was searching, let me tell you a story real quick. When I was searching, I was so nervous. And nobody ever told me their experience of what it was like being homeless. Listen, you hear stories and you got a mental. Nobody told me what it was really like to go through the process and, hey, what should I do? Should I stress? Should I sit on the side of the road? Should I sleep in a bush? What? I don't know. Like, I'm feeling anxious. You know, growing up as a child, I didn't have much interaction with people. I was always so nervous to talk to people. Okay, interact and be really good with my communication skills. It was terrified, okay, terrified. But when I was put in these situations, it forces you to succeed. It forces you to survive out of that. Hey, you're living a situation, you're homeless and shit. You got kids? Okay, I understand. Low income, I understand. But don't think low up here. You need to think high up here, okay? High motivation, high power, high drive, motivated. Do not let your mental mindset deteriorate. Don't let the weeds come in and destroy everything you have going on in your garden. Because if you cannot get your mind right, all shit crumbles. Ah, man, shit. You know what I mean? I've heard a lot of talk about this. Oh, mental illness. I have PTSD really bad. Blah, blah, blah. I understand. I completely understand. I've seen mental illness cases. There's some demons that some people cannot fight. But I know 100% you are stronger than ever. Otherwise, you know what I mean? You wouldn't be smiling right now. So, when I talk about these resources and I talk about some of my journeys, just know I've been through it. I know. Going back to caseworkers. Libraries are great. Homeless shelters are great. People in some of the churches, you may not be religious, but there's some caseworkers in there who can point you in the right direction or maybe even solve your problem. Okay? So, get your mind right. Get your grind right. You know what I mean? There's a solution to every single problem, and do not stop fighting for what you need for you and your family. Let that be known. Anyways, I love you guys. I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to go do what I got to go do. I hope everybody's going to have an amazing, fantastic day. Just know I love you. Just know God loves you. And just know you love you too.